Thanks, Rita. Good evening. Welcome to Look North. Our top story tonight. The mother of a teenager who took her own life after using an acne drug says it should be banned for under 18s.
She was perfectly normal up until a quarter of an hour before she was overwhelmed by this impulse that caused her to take her own life.
New safety measures around the drug have been proposed, but Annabelle's mum says they're not enough. Also tonight, Yorkshire nurses and ambulance crews prepare for more strikes this bank holiday weekend. Bradford's clean air zone generates millions of pounds in fines and charges, but businesses tell us they're feeling the pinch. And teamwork makes the dream work. We meet the care home residents joining up with young artists to celebrate the coronation.
And even though we've got some brightness out there at the moment, it has been a fairly overcast and at times damp day. The good news is it's getting warmer for the weekend, but there are going to be a few showers about. I'll be back with all of the details later on in the programme.
Hello from the Look North News team. Thanks for joining us. 4 years ago, a teenager from North Yorkshire took her life after using an anti-acne drug. Now her mother says proposed new safety measures don't go far enough to prevent further deaths. A coroner ruled out a direct link between the medication and Annabelle Wright's death, but her mum is convinced it was to blame. She's been speaking to our reporter, Olivia Richwald.
This is Annabelle Wright. Her family say she was a carefree and happy teenager before she suddenly took her own life, aged just 15. Annabelle's parents believe her suicide in 2019 was triggered by isotretinoin, an acne medication she was prescribed. Its brand name is Roaccutane.
The brightest, happiest, most level-headed girl, giggly, fun. She's the type of person that would just light up a room, never ever down, never miserable. She was perfectly normal up until a quarter of an hour before she was overwhelmed by this impulse that caused her to take her own life.
The drug has been linked to other suicides. The NHS lists depression and changes in mood as serious side effects. But in 2021, a coroner said there was no direct link between the drug and Annabelle's death. Now the Commission on Human Medicines has proposed new safety measures. Before it's prescribed to 12 to 18-year-olds, it should be signed off by two people, usually doctors. Families should be given more information on side effects, and patients should be better monitored. Helen and other families affected by the drug gave evidence to the Commission and think the steps aren't enough.
Everybody was disappointed, some angry, some very hurt. What sounds like on face value some good things come out of it, but in reality I really don't think that they will make much of a difference at all, and they certainly wouldn't have made any difference in Annabelle's case.
And what would you like them to do?
I would like them to ban the drug for certainly under 18s, preferably under 25s.
In a statement, the drug manufacturer Roche said, "Millions of patients worldwide have taken Roaccutane, but like all medications, it can have side effects. This report supports our long-standing recommendation that it's prescribed very carefully, that patients are fully informed as to what to expect when they take it, and that they are monitored closely."
What would you say to anyone who's on the drug now and any parents whose children are on the drug?
I would say that you're playing Russian roulette with your child's life. Have a good chat with them. Have they ever had these feelings come out of the blue that they no longer want to live just randomly? The only way to prevent deaths is to stop putting adolescents on it.
Olivia Richwald with that report. And if you or someone you know has been affected by the issues raised in tonight's report, do contact the BBC Action Line via bbc.co.uk/action line for details of organisations which offer advice and support. Now, in other news, nurses and ambulance workers in our region will be taking strike action over the bank holiday weekend. Members of the Royal College of Nursing will walk out at 8 o'clock on Sunday night, and staff at the Yorkshire Ambulance Service, who are members of the Unite Union, will go on strike on Monday. Phil Bodmer joins us from outside the Leeds General Infirmary now. Phil, let's start with the nurses. Why are they walking out?
Well, this is a long-running dispute about low pay historically, and the fact that the union claims it's pushing people away from the profession. Now, the strike will involve NHS nurses who are members of the RCN union, working in emergency departments, intensive care, cancer wards and other general wards. It was meant to be a 48-hour stoppage, but following a legal challenge by the government, that's now been reduced to 1 day. Now, the strike was called after members rejected a government pay offer of 5% plus a one-off payment of at least £1,600 to top up last year's salary. Earlier on today, we spoke to one of the unions about how they felt about the latest walkout.
There is never a right time to be on strike. Ideally, we would be talking, not on strike, and there is no nurse that would rather be on a picket line than talking. So what we would say is, it's the role of the government to resolve this, and nurses are doing this as a very last resort.
Well, that's the point of view for the nurses, but of course, Phil, ambulance workers in our region are also taking part in industrial action, aren't they?
Yeah, this involves members of the Unite union. Now, in our region, about 7,000 members of the Yorkshire ambulance organisation, of which about 400 belong to Unite. Now, the union have told us today what they want to see alongside a decent pay settlement is reform of the way paramedics and people who work in the NHS are paid.
The pay review body, as is, isn't fit for purpose. And Unite has actually passed a motion to say we want to abolish the pay review body. The fact is, if the government keep talking to us, we can achieve a settlement and we can find a fair way forward.
Clearly, there's the potential then for significant disruption for anyone who needs the NHS in these coming days. What is the advice to the public, Phil?
Well, the advice to the public is not to call 999 unless it's a life-threatening emergency. Similarly, do not visit A&E like the one behind me here in Leeds unless you absolutely need to. Now, the Yorkshire Ambulance Service says it's put contingencies in place, but it is concerned about some of the A&E departments which could be affected by this, including here in Leeds, in Sheffield, York, Scarborough, Barnsley and indeed Bradford. They say A&Es are likely to be very busy, so if you do need to go, please be prepared to wait and be very patient.
There are other alternative sources of care in Bradford. There's 111, there's local doctors, dentists, and opticians and pharmacies. In addition, there are also other local providers such as Airedale and Coaldale and Huddersfield hospitals that are not striking.
Well, the ambulance service and the hospitals concerned are well practiced in these kind of situations because they've been here in recent weeks and recent months. So they are saying, look, we will do our best to offer you a decent service. Just one footnote tonight, the GMB union have now accepted that 5% government pay offer.
Phil, thank you very much indeed. Phil Bodmer there at the Leeds General Infirmary. You're watching Friday's Look North, still to come on tonight's programme. Read all about it. We bring you 500,000 reasons why one school in Leeds has risen to the top. Now look at some of the other headlines making news in the Yorkshire region today. A woman from West Yorkshire who fled conflict-hit Sudan has said she was convinced she would die trying to get out of the country. Alaa Sanhouri from Leeds said the bus carrying her and others to an airfield near Khartoum was twice hit by bullets. The occupants of the bus were trying to escape after violence erupted in the northeast African country on the 15th of April. Now back home, Miss Sanhouri said the experience had been a horrible, terrifying nightmare.
There are no words to describe that. I felt like we've been stopped too many times, 12, 13 times. Every time I feel like I'm not going to make it. The way that we've been treated, I felt like we're not going to make it. We're not going to survive. It was horrible. It was terrifying. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare till we saw the British soldiers. Then we felt like we're safe.
Police have renewed their appeal to find 4 young men wanted in connection with the murder of 18-year-old Jamie May in Leeds. It's now a week since West Yorkshire Police named 20-year-old Renee Wilkes, 20-year-old Caleb Orr, Akwade Jeffers and Enem Nishat. Mr May died in hospital after he was attacked and stabbed in Armley on the 31st of March. A man from Sheffield has admitted killing both his parents in November last year. Known as Duncan, James Andrews from Greenhill stabbed Brian and Mary Andrews at their home in Totley. At Sheffield Crown Court today, Andrews pleaded guilty to manslaughter by reason of diminished responsibility. He remains in a secure hospital facility and will be sentenced in June. Yorkshire Water were at a public meeting in Stannington last night, and it's nearly 5 months on from that water main which burst, leaving homes without a gas supply. Many residents say they haven't had the repair work they were promised, with boilers, hobs and gas fires still not working. Yorkshire Water say they're doing everything they can to get issues resolved as quickly as possible, and they've sorted 187 claims since the start of March. But customers say there are many more issues that need attention.
And no matter how many times I've rung, tried to get it sorted, I'm still messing about. And now we're required to get reports and then invoices, well, quotes for the repairs.
My concern is going forwards, and always has been, about the bills, the meters that were installed that were got random numbers on, not starting at zero. The utility companies not having a clue what was going on in the area, still don't have a clue what's going on in the area. And then obviously from the appliances not working in the future, in 6 months' time when the sediment water still in the network, who's going to pick up the tab for all that?
It's still a big thing, and it needs somebody that has the oversight, because there will still be water coming through the pipes. We're being told it can be 5, 6 or even 10 years down the line. Somebody needs to be able to manage that, and I don't have any confidence in either Yorkshire Water or Charles Taylor to deal with that.
That's the view from Stannington residents. Now, here's another story we know you like to tell us about. Bradford's Clean Air Zone has generated more than £4 million in charges and fines in its first 6 months. The scheme aims to cut pollution and reduce its impact on people's health, but some business owners say it has caused confusion among customers and added to price rises, as Charles Heslett reports.
Here in Bradford, the Clean Air Zone has been running for more than 6 months, and schemes like these have been popping up in cities across the country. Latest research shows that pollution has an even more devastating effect on our health than previously thought. But what do people think about these new schemes? One business owner who's been directly affected by the charges is Keith Wildman, who runs the Record Cafe in the centre of Bradford.
When you're talking increase in electricity prices and suppliers putting their prices up as well, to have another cost to add on to it, it's really not ideal. And all you can do with anything like this is just pass it on down the chain, and the ultimate people who are paying for it is the customers.
Keith said some pints have gone up by 20p a pint, and he's worried about how this will affect his customers.
I think it will gradually kill cities off as a place for people to visit. I mean, we live near the Peak District, but we're much more city people. We love cities. We're always going for city breaks. But we notice a decline, and I think this will accelerate that decline.
Passenger cars and motorbikes are exempt, but any commercial vehicles, including small vans, trucks and lorries, have to pay the charge if they don't meet strict emission standards. But some are arguing that now is the time to look for an alternative to tackle air pollution.
I was on a journey driving down to the south of England, and on the motorway they'd cut the speed limit, and they'd cut it from 70 miles per hour to 60 miles per hour. And it was clearly stated, on the panels, that this was in order to reduce emissions to save air. So maybe we could cut down the speed limit in a city and that would help.
The government told Bradford Council it had to tackle air pollution. In just 6 months, the council has brought in £4.5 million in charges and fines. But most of that money is ring-fenced and has to be ploughed back into schemes to improve the air quality in the district. And with these types of schemes popping up across the country, it looks unlikely that the brakes will be put on clean air zones anytime soon.
Thanks, Charles. There will be more on that story on Sunday Politics. That's at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. Now, it'll be May a week from now, and we'll be finding out the results of the local elections. And over the past fortnight, we have been hearing from the main political parties. The Green Party already share power in York and Sheffield and think they can take more seats. But those two councils will get a lot of attention this year because Labour are hoping to take both of them.
We are expecting to make gains all over the region, especially in York, where we currently have 3 Green councillors, and we're currently the junior partner in the administration there. But yeah, we're expecting to make substantial gains in York. Sheffield, our councillors have also been working really hard in the joint administration there for a number of years. And we're also expecting to make breakthroughs onto several new councils in the area too.
Now, it feels like it's been a very busy week sports-wise already, what with Sheffield United being promoted, but still the season goes on, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And let's turn first to Rotherham United, who are investigating an incident of racist abuse on social media following their 2-1 Championship home loss to Cardiff City on Thursday. Cedric Kipre's late goal gave the visitors victory, and it's thought the defender was one of those targeted, along with Cardiff coach Sol Bamba. Rotherham condemned the posts and will work with South Yorkshire Police.
And so the great jostle for safety continues. Rotherham United find themselves right back in the battle against relegation with just 2 more matches to play, starting this Monday against Middlesbrough. Huddersfield Town now play Cardiff on Sunday before hosting Sheffield United, and finally, intriguingly, Reading. We might well be heading for a very nervous final day of the season for both Rotherham and Huddersfield on Coronation Bank Holiday Monday.
There always is. It could be a decision that costs you, it could be a mistake by somebody. You just don't know what's around the corner in the Championship. All I do know is that every one of them players that goes on the pitch will be giving me 100%.
At the same time on Sunday, Leeds United go to Bournemouth in search of more Premier League survival points. Bradford City take the road to Northampton tomorrow to consolidate a League Two playoff place. But in League One, Barnsley and Sheffield Wednesday's automatic promotion hopes were severely inconvenienced, to say the least, by Ipswich winning at Oakwell on Tuesday. Though neither South Yorkshire rival will finish any lower than 4th now, even the higher placed Wednesday can start to plan for the real possibility of an all-South Yorkshire playoff final for a place in next season's Championship. Paul Ogden, BBC Look North, with nerves jangling already.
Absolutely. Now, England will play France in an international rugby league doubleheader on Saturday. Holly May Dodd, seen here in the Rugby League World Cup last year, is one of the players selected for the women's team. She recently became the first English player to sign a professional contract with the women's NRL in Australia and will be leaving York Valkyrie to join the Canberra Raiders.
The attraction for myself is just helping myself develop as a player. I know over here it's not a full-time professional game yet. It will soon get there, and it is expanding as we speak. However, in Australia, the salary caps have all come out, and it's a full-time professional sport over there.
Now it's the final weekend of the Snooker World Championships in Sheffield, and it's been a special day for one snooker fan who got to meet his idol at the Crucible. BBC Radio Sheffield arranged for Jamie Linus, a lifelong snooker fan who's blind, to spend some time with former player turned commentator Steve Davis before watching the semi-final.
Absolutely just out of this world. I cannot actually believe that, you know, because, I mean, my mum was a massive Steve Davis fan as well, and I always have been, right from being knee-high to a grasshopper. It was always something that, you know, was on my bucket list. But it was one that I thought, that's never going to happen, never in a million years.
A dream day. And there's full coverage of the action at the Crucible over the weekend on the BBC, Tom.
Thank you, Sally. Do you think it's going to be one of those legendary late-nighters at the snooker, you know, which goes on into Monday morning?
Yeah, well, there's a really exciting young Chinese player. If he wins, he'll be the youngest ever champion in the sport.
Oh, lots to look forward to. That sounds like a hot tip. Sally Hurst, our chief sports reporter, thank you very much indeed. Now, preparations are well underway in Harrogate for the King's coronation. Young and old have come together to create a special art installation to mark the occasion. Pupils at St Aidan's School teamed up with residents at the Cuttings Care Home for their project, which was inspired by pop art icon Andy Warhol. The display showcases 42 colourful canvases designed by students as young as 11. Here's Nicola Rees.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Residents at the Cuttings Care Home in Harrogate are certainly impressed with their colourful new addition.
Are you proud of them?
We're really proud.
Oh, you should be.
Bella and Maisie created their own interpretation of the King's coronation, and so did 42 other students at St Aidan's School.
I think they're fantastic. I really do. They're lovely. It's nice to have young people around because we don't feel old. Look at that one, that's a nice scene.
Oh, that's really nice with the flowers and the different colours.
The art project's a collaboration between young and old. It's all part of the build-up to the coronation, and it's felt special to everyone involved.
We are making bunting for the coronation of King Charles III. I guess it'll be exciting because this is the first coronation that we'll be seeing, and it's really cool to be a part of the history. Yours looks so good.
The silhouettes of the King on canvas will be a permanent feature and a reminder of an important moment in British history.
The residents have really enjoyed watching the exhibition go up, and they've all been commenting on their favourites. It's just bringing all age groups together. We've chosen a very modern Andy Warhol type art, pop art, for a modern monarchy really. So this wall's going to be here forever.
When the Queen died, you know, we did a lot here to commemorate her life. But obviously this is the start of a new era, and a lot of our residents have lived the life with the Queen's family. So it was really important to us that we did something special.
We've got an O instead of a W.
Yeah.
The residents are enjoying every moment of the preparations, and for some it's bringing back memories.
I can't help remembering the late Queen, her coronation. I think I was 13 when she was crowned.
I like King Charles. I think he'll do us proud. I really do think he'll do us proud.
Does it look good?
It does.
Yeah,
yes,
it
it does.
With their new creations on display and the new friendships they've formed, the residents of the Cuttings are ready to witness history again. Nicola Rees, BBC Look North, Harrogate.
Lovely.
Thanks, Nicola. Those pictures were brilliant. We'd love to snap those up for our newsroom here. Now, we'd also like to hear what you've got planned for the coronation next week. Like we've just seen, are you getting a bit arty, or are you inviting your friends for a street party? Do please let us know how you're marking the coronation, because we are looking for invitations out next weekend. Email us, please, look.north@bbc.co.uk, or you can find us on Facebook at BBC Yorkshire and drop us a line there. Now, of course, news is often, by its nature, a little bit gloomy, but here on Look North, we do like to try and find some gems to cheer you up. And when Bramley Park Academy wrote to tell us about their outstanding recent achievements, well, we thought we'd go and check them out. The primary school in Leeds has had £500,000 invested in it, and that makeover on the outside has led to some real changes on the inside too. We sent Kathy along to find out more.
Carrie Green cuts a distinctive figure in school corridors that may be due to her faithful companion. Hamish the therapy dog is just one of the changes at Bramley Park Academy that's seen it go from special measures 6 years ago to outstanding today. And Hamish has played his part.
He works across schools supporting children just with their reading, or if they're having a bit of a tricky day, it helps them to regulate. And it's also a great thing for children just to have as a reward to come and walk with Hamish and have that lovely time. He certainly earns his biscuits by the end of the week, Hamish. He works really hard for us.
Out in the playground, teamwork is fostered by that PE classic Rounders. The children's kit is provided free so everyone can take part. Inclusion being at the heart of the school's thinking.
It's so good at including other people with disabilities, because I suffer with cerebral palsy myself, and they welcomed me in so well, and I'm so happy I'm at this school.
I think the best thing about this school is the teachers, because they're so kind.
In a brightly refurbished classroom, Year 2 children are making collages out of natural materials. Their uniforms are also provided free. For some children, it's the first new clothing they've ever had, so it's a source of great pride and a boon for larger families. Trips and topics keep the children interested in learning.
Yesterday we were on a school trip to the Factory Museum, and we saw Florence Nightingale, but she isn't alive. It was a lady in a costume of her.
What I like about my school is that I can go outside, do things like learning gymnastics and all those things.
Music is given plenty of time in the curriculum because the children enjoy it and it unites all age groups. And with an outstanding rating after years of hard work, touchingly, it's the children themselves who feel they have plenty to sing about. Kathy Killick, BBC Look North, Bramley.
Oh, what a wonderful way to set up Bank Holiday weekend. If that hasn't gotten a spring in your step, nothing will. The only thing that could possibly bring us down now is a terrible weather forecast. So no pressure, Keely. It's got to be good for bank holiday.
Yeah, absolutely no pressure at all. It's going to be a mixed bag. There you go. Is that sitting on the fence enough for you? Well, it's going to be brighter than today, put it that way. It's been really quite dreary for a lot of today. Let's have a little look at some of the photos that have been coming in. Your first overcast in Knaresborough today, and then drizzly and damp in our second picture over Home Moss. The third, a brighter story, a carpet of bluebells in South Yorkshire, but it took a while to get going, even though we have ended the day on a pleasant note. You can keep your pictures coming into the BBC Weather Watchers, or I'm on social media as well. So yes, it has brightened up now, and we are expecting some brighter conditions through the weekend. And crucially, we're expecting it to be a little bit warmer as well, particularly as we head through Sunday and Monday. But there are a fair few showers around in the forecast. Some of them could be heavy through the day on Sunday. So some showers tomorrow, yes. The heaviest of the showers will be on Sunday. And then as this ridge of high pressure builds in, it may well kill off the showers through the day on Monday. High pressure generally dominating next week. It is going to cool down after a mild weekend, though. Here's all the cloud on the satellite picture. You can see over the last few hours we've started to get some clear breaks spreading down from the north and the west, and it is a pleasant end to the day. So variable clouds, some clear spells overnight. The cloud thick enough for a few light showers perhaps in the north and the east. Otherwise a dry night. Again, clear spells developing towards dawn, and a chilly night. Temperatures down to around 4 or 5 degrees. A quick look at those high water times. We're expecting high water around lunchtime tomorrow, 12:22 in Scarborough. So tomorrow, variable amounts of cloud. There will be some bright or sunny spells, particularly across parts of South and West Yorkshire. There'll also be a fair few showers, not everywhere catching them, but the odd sharp one through the afternoon. I think we'll hang on to that bit more cloud across parts of North Yorkshire, and particularly that northeast corners where we're expecting the lowest temperatures. Along the coast, 10 or 11 degrees. Across the North York moors, it'll feel cooler underneath that overcast cloud. But pull inland, West and South Yorkshire, 16 degrees. Some heavy showers on Sunday, and then the showers tending to die away as we head through the day on Monday, Tom.
Thank you very much indeed, Keely. That'll do for Bank Holiday weekend. We've got a bit of walking weather there, I think. Thank you very much for your company. That is as far as Look North goes this Friday evening. From the whole Friday team, have a very good Bank Holiday weekend. Amanda is here with your latest update, 10:30 tonight. Take care.